Hey everyone, welcome back to some Blood Crest Manor content. So today I'm going to be bringing you guys along with me to do some of the ceiling and the caulking on the wall behind me. Well, on the outside wall. It really, it has some areas on it that are gapped open, especially like right here. Boop. Right there on the window. That little hole right there needs to be filled in, and we got some up here on the side that needs to be done as well, up under the window. But so I'm gonna go ahead and get all that done today, and I'm gonna bring you guys along with me. Alright everyone, so what we're going to be starting here with first is getting all these thicker gaps and openings in this wall fixed. It's a really old wall and it's really old siding. It's been underneath the shingles for quite some time. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using a Red Devil foam and fill, large gaps and cracks. Basically this is just going to fill in those holes that I can't do with like the caulking I'm going to be using. Basically anything that's more than a quarter inch, you know, half inch even, anything more than that needs to be filled in with the foam. So that's what I'm doing here, is just using that, going through, finding all these bigger holes. There's not many, thankfully. Just really around the windows is where we really had to worry about. There was just a couple spots here or there where there'd been like holes drilled for something at some point. This house did have a radio antenna in it, so there was extra components that were drilled in at one point. But so I'm just getting all that filled in, and now we should be good to go for the caulking. Alright, now that we have the foam filled in and all that's good to go, now I'm going to be using this caulking gun and some White Lightning all-purpose painter's preferred caulk. Basically all that this does is just fill in these little cracks and gaps that are in the wall and just getting it all really good and waterproof. Like I said, it was all underneath like this shingle siding, and it's really old. It has some gaps in it. Some pieces weren't really holding in well, so we had to come in and make sure they were stable. But a lot of these gaps are just going to let teardrop water in now that the siding is off, the shingle siding, and we just can't have that. So the whole point of this is to come in, get it all sealed up with this foam and this all-purpose caulking, and stop any water from getting in. And then anything that's really small will be filled in by an encapsulating paint. Encapsulating paint is basically like an epoxy paint. It's what you would see used like on basement floors, garage floors. It's going to do a really good job with making sure nothing is able to get in, and this wood won't be able to deteriorate any further. So that should be it for about this one, guys. Just stick with me on this, and I'll go ahead and show you the rest of me getting this done. Alright, now that the foam has had a chance to cure, I'm going to be going through and getting a lot of it cut off so it's flat to the surface of the house. Once it's flat to the surface, I'm going to throw a bead of the caulking on top of it as well, just to make sure that it's able to stay weatherproof as best as possible. The foam really is weatherproof and it's mildew resistant. However, I feel that it's much better just to go ahead and give it a good clear coat on top of it. So I'm going to be going through, cutting off the tops of all the foam where it overfilled the holes, and giving it a smooth surface. Alright guys, just a real quick insert here. Just wanted to let you know why I was taking so long on this one little spot, and if you look closely, it's not even completely sealed yet. Basically right here on the top of this roof, right here on this side, right here, right there near above the ladder, there's a thicker gap than the caulking can take, and I should have used foam on it, but I didn't realize it was that thick up there until I got up there looking at it closer. So what I'm doing now is I'm having to lay one little layer and then come back, lay another layer, and then I'll be able to seal it up better. But there's one problem with that. I have a bunch of wasps up there flying around. I don't see any right now as I'm standing down here, of course. But there's a few up there, and I definitely don't want to do nothing that's going to provoke them. So I just wanted to give you guys a little clarity on this as to why that was taking so long, and that's about it. So I'll see you guys back here in just a little bit. Alright everyone, we're back out here on another day. At the top of the eave here, at the top of the house where all those bees were, I ended up realizing that there was a decent gap up there, and honestly the gap is somewhere between a quarter to a half inch in some spots. I didn't see this on my original go through with the foam, and unfortunately for me I ended up using the rest of the foam that I had, thinking that I'd done everything I needed with it on props instead of this. So I ended up having to put a decently fat bead on there. Basically what I did to do this was I came in on the bottom of it and I laid down a bead on top of the wood where the gap started. And once that was able to get to a decent cureness to it, to where I could put more on it, I was able to then kind of zigzag from the top to the bottom to fill it in. Once that was all dried, I went back and made sure everything was all good and sealed up. Nothing really needed any extra after that, but just letting you know, you can fill in thicker gaps with this, but it's going to take more than one pass over. And honestly, if you can, it's just be much better to have the foam. I wish now that I had kept that foam until the job was done, but that's just what happened. So I just wanted to let you guys know that you can make these gaps work with it, but it's just a little bit more difficult. Alright everyone, so that's going to be it for this episode. I got everything done up on this wall that we need to do. All the cracks are now sealed. All the spots that were empty and void were sealed with foam and caulking and things such as that. So now all that's done. So now all we got to do is get this wall painted. And I am so looking forward to doing that. There's been a ton of work going to this wall in the front of the house. And once we get to put the porch back together, and once we get to paint this thing the exterior color I want and board up these windows, it is going to spread across the community like wildfire. It's going to be so cool. I really cannot wait for people to get to see it as they pass by and wonder, what is going on there? It's going to look like the Addams family done moved in. And in a little kind of a way, maybe they have. But anyway, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and get inside now. I'm gonna do some painting on the inside today as well. Still got some time before I need to go. And that'll be it for this one though. So I'll see you guys in the painting video, and I'll talk to you here soon. Woo!